This is your opportunity to change anything. Behaviorally, you can change anything you want. Not everything you want, right? That's the problem. You can become anything you want behaviorally, but you can't be everything you want. So you need to pick a small number.
What would have to happen at the end of next year to look back and consider this year a success?
I think that really helps to just give you a bit more perspective. And it usually comes down to only a few things. Setting the bar unrealistically high does not increase your performance. Imagine that you went into a buffet and you made your plate as big as possible. You said, I want all of these things. I'm going to put all of this stuff on my plate. And my stomach is going to expand to be able to fit it. That's not the way that our stomachs work. And that is not the way that our workloads work. So, first rule, in order to pick something up, you have to put something down. Don't assume that just because you've loaded more onto your workload plate, your work capacity will expand to be able to fit it into your stomach. That's not the way that it works. Make the assumption, I can do no more than I'm doing now. I can switch stuff, but I can't add more in. Maybe you can. Maybe you're going to be able to squeeze your phone time. Maybe you're going to be able to become more efficient, more productive, whatever. But it's safer to just assume this is the pie that I'm playing with. And in order to pick something up, I have to put something down.
That means I'm going to have to take something off the plate. We don't think about subtraction. We think of addition.
Unfortunately, you can't take somebody else's purpose or success. You can't wear it as a suit. It's a bad idea, right? Because it's going to not fit. Let go or be dragged. That means if you're not careful with how you design what it is that you chase after, you can spend your entire life realizing that you climbed a huge ladder that was leaning up against the wrong wall. The big picture goals are going to be hard for you to get to. But if you just think 1 year ahead, okay, now we can start talking about a plan to do that. If I could only achieve one thing today, start of every day, if I could only achieve one thing today, what would that be? And the big thing, it's usually the scary thing, it's usually the thing that you probably don't want to do. How many times does someone go and clean the cupboard in the kitchen that hasn't been touched for 6 months? Rearrange all of the plates because they don't want to have that conversation with their boss. Because they don't want to face that particular piece of work, which is like big and scary and I don't really know how to tackle it, how to begin. You will do everything that doesn't need to be done in order to avoid the one thing that does. Because it's a big, scary task that people will endure months, years, decades of misery to avoid a couple of days of pain. And that makes sense. It's a good trade in some ways, but over time you're going to accumulate an awful lot of discomfort. Permanently being busy stops you from being able to listen to fleeting thoughts that are in the back of your mind. Mm-hmm. And that quiet voice is usually the really powerful one. The answers you seek are in the silence you're avoiding. So, lessons about problems and stress. Number one, problems are a feature of life, not a bug. And there will never come a time when you have no problems. What did you think you were going to wake up one day and there'd be no more problems, like completing a video game level and going to a map where there's nothing there? Right? Things are always going to incur problems. Your problems will change, but having problems is going nowhere. Number two, whatever negativity is consuming your thoughts probably won't matter in 3 months' time. Like in 3 months, you won't remember the corrosive texture of your own mind or the boring, repetitive things that you thought or maybe even what you worried about. I think, what were you worrying about 3 months ago right now? Probably can't remember. But all of the time that you spent worrying will have passed. So you're sacrificing your joy and your presence in the moment for a problem that you won't even be able to recall in the future. So learning comes from the edges. Number three, change is uncomfortable and it rarely occurs without a lot of stress.
Learning comes from the edges? From the edges.
Yeah. Proximate zone of development.
What does that mean?
You pushing yourself just beyond what you're comfortable with. And sometimes this can be emotional pain too. Leaving the job happens when you get pushed out of region beta on the bottom end, or growth happens when you overextend yourself the right amount, not so much that you get injured, but so much that you're challenged, that this is a new zone for you to get into. I'm boring up, wow, and it expands your potential, your idea of what you're able to do, and it pushes you so that your system becomes more resilient on the other side. many of the periods of radical important change that